Good morning and welcome to the show, and thanks for waking up with us today. I have a special guest in the studio today, Air Force veteran, entrepreneur, restaurateur, bon vivant, man about town, Paul Buster Busatel. Paul,
hi, good morning.
Thank
Buster,
you so much. Good, so good to see you, and good to meet you. I know we got
nice to meet you.
We got a little acquainted before the show, and Buster, otherwise known as the Big Kahuna, you're also known as the Big Kahuna. You've got the Big Kahuna Cafe out on the beach, right?
Right. We started with Buster's Beer and Bait 2.5 years ago. It was a liquor store, bar, and a bait shop. And then purchased the building next door, opened a few businesses there with me and my partner, Kenny. And we opened Buster's Big Kahuna Cafe. Crazy good island food.
Yeah. Now, we have something in common in that we're both Air Force veterans. And
right.
We're both Air Force retirees. And you were an air battle manager, and your call sign was Buster.
Right, yes.
So that's where this whole Buster's thing comes from. Yeah.
And I fought that call sign. I didn't want it, but the more I fought it, the more it stuck.
Yeah, that's the way that works usually.
28 years later,
yeah,
that's how I got Buster.
Yeah. So you started with the beer and bait shop, right?
Right. It was a liquor store. I converted it into a bar and put a bait shop in the back with a live bait. And then, I seen that the need for food. So we opened Buster's Big Kahuna Cafe. Like I said, we purchased the 13,000 square foot building next door, and we had so much space. So now we have a surf shop in there. My wife has Vita. It's an all-natural health food store, so people do not have to leave the beach anymore to meet all their healthcare needs and all-natural foods. We'll also have a yoga studio, and in about 2 weeks, we're opening a CrossFit gym.
Holy mackerel, you do it all out there, don't you?
Yeah, got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, what made you want to stay here? You're obviously from somewhere else, right?
Right, originally from the deep south, Miami.
Miami,
and, said joined the Air Force when I was 18, and then got commissioned, and ended up here at Tyndall. I didn't want to go to the Pentagon from here, so ended up staying. I love it here. I love the water. I love the beach. I love the people.
I'm familiar with that syndrome, that not wanting to go to the Pentagon syndrome. I'd rather retire to the beach. Exactly. Yeah, I think I suffered from that as well.
Exactly. So I fell in love with this place. I love fishing and scuba diving, spear fishing, and especially the beaches. So I've always dreamt of being an entrepreneur. I was held back by the Air Force.
Yeah.
Now that I'm pretty much full throttle into the entrepreneurship and restaurateur, and my wife, she's always wanted to open a natural health food store. So we had the room, and it's a very unique environment. We have in one building, it's all open concept the way I want it. So we have a surf shop in the middle. We have the surf shop is actually owned by another retired. He's a Navy diver, Tony, with Into the Blue Surf Shop. And then on the right side is the Tiki House, which is the Buster's Big Kahuna Cafe. On the left side is Vita, which is my wife. So you got like one-stop shopping for all of your beach health needs out there. Now, I smell something really good going on in the studio here, Buster, but we got to run off to the local weather. But after the weather, maybe we could sample some of your fare from. Of course, we got
Buster's Big Kahuna Cafe.
Samples. Sounds good.
All right, awesome. We will be right back after your local weather. Welcome back to the show. It smells great in the studio because I'm here with the Big Kahuna himself, Buster Busatel. Thanks so much for bringing all this great stuff in. Now, you've got everything going on there at your place on the beach.
Right.
And part of it is some of these products that you sell.
Right. My wife has a health food store, Vita Health Foods, like I talked about. She has a little bit of everything. She has some kombuchas, a lot of supplements.
Gesundheit. A kombucha.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure I know what that is.
It's basically a fermented health drink, and it's really good for your stomach.
All right, I'll have to try that one time.
Protein powders, and she has supplements and fish oils, all natural. So you no longer have to go, for people who live on the beach, you no longer have to cross the bridge on 23rd Street to go and buy your health food.
Crossing that bridge is a huge barrier
it is.
to commerce. It might as well be a wall there, because people in town rarely go to the beach and vice versa.
Right.
I'm familiar with that syndrome too.
Exactly. So now, with this option on 5908 Thomas Drive, you don't have to go. You can come to her store and get all the products that you need right there.
And also stop off with some great chow. What are we looking at here? What's for breakfast?
All right, well, breakfast.
Yeah.
We serve brunch on the weekends, and from 9 to 1, and then we're open every other day from 11 until 9 at night, which is our lunch. So this is a Buster Flatjack. It's
Buster Flat Jack.
Jack, yep. It was my wife's idea, and we kind of made that into a triangle that you could pick up with your hands. This is, and everything that everything I made has a different name. So this is Egg Extravaganza, and this is the Cuban that went to Hawaii.
The Cuban that went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
That looks fabulous because I love Cuban stuff.
Yes, and I'm from Miami, and I'll tell you this will.
Oh, you know all about Cuban sandwiches.
Yes,
then. Yeah.
and this will compare to any Cuban sandwich out there, even in Cuba, I would imagine. But anyway, if you want to start with the try the breakfast one.
Well, I'm dying to try something here.
Yeah.
I mean, because it just smells great in here. Let's get down to business here. Let's get down to business here, Buster. Okay, I'm going to cut a little. Now, what is this called? The Egg Extravaganza?
Egg Extravaganza.
The Egg Extravaganza. Now, what is this?
That's a homemade gravy that we make put over it. So, the health food will help get rid of that later. But
breakfast. That's fabulous. That is so good.
And everything's made fresh. Everything's made in-house. We make the flapjacks every morning. So we make about 200 of them in the morning. We have them ready. And so it's all fresh. Other ingredients are made in-house. Anything that we don't get, we don't make in-house, we get from Boar's Head.
Yeah, don't mind me. You just keep talking. I'm going to keep eating.
We have a whole line of these. We also have a gluten-free menu, and we're
see. I had oatmeal for breakfast this morning, but this is better.
Yeah, that's ham, bacon, scrambled eggs, caramelized onion, and then topped with
There's a big hole in mine.
And then the lunch is the Cuban that went to Hawaii.
Wow.
It's just like a traditional Cuban. We roast our own pork in Hawaiian seasoning. That's where the Hawaiian name came. And then we get the ham.
Am I looking at pickles sticking out of the side here?
Yeah, there are pickles.
Do you mind?
No, go ahead.
Let me see that knife there, because I don't want to be a total gavone like my wife would call me. All right, let's. We'll cut that in half.
There you go.
And I'll try a little sample here. We can get a look at the inside of what's going on inside the sandwich. There was a lot happening in this sandwich, man.
It's Boar's Head ham. We roast our own pork. Pickles, we make our own Cuban mustard.
Oh, man.
And then, of course, we make the bread fresh every morning.
Buster, if anybody wants to try some of this, where do we go?
5908 Thomas Drive, Buster's Big Kahuna Cafe. It's right next to Buster's Beer and Bait. Liquor in the front, bait in the back is the liquor store, bait shop. And then, again, it's inside a surf shop. We have a surf shop. It's an open concept is the way I wanted it. Surf shop in the middle. Tiki House to the right is the cafe. Tiki House to the left is the Vita Natural Health Food store. And in the middle is Hidden Lotus Yoga. And then we're opening Aces CrossFit in the next few weeks in the back.
Buster's Big Kahuna Cafe. Thank you so much for the great breakfast. Go out, check it out, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I've got a returning guest here in the way of Emily Carvalho and a new friend here, Margaret Witten, and we're going to talk about weight loss and what they've done to lose weight and what you can do as well. Now, Emily, you've had some progress. I mean,
have.
And welcome back, by the way.
Thank you.
And now, last time you were here, you had lost how much?
Right around 13 pounds.
About 13 pounds.
And about an inch off of my hips, which was an absolute miracle because I hadn't been able to lose weight in years.
Right, and now you've lost some more.
Now I'm returning a few months later, and I'm almost 3 inches off my hips, which is amazing, and weigh over 20 pounds.
Wow.
An inch and a half off my arms, and I'm just super excited. The energy levels and the stamina, and as you're losing the weight, it tightens you up, almost like you've been working out. I've never seen anything like it. And it's all natural.
You just feel better.
I feel wonderful.
Now, Margaret, you've lost a considerable amount of weight, if you don't mind me saying so.
A considerable amount of weight. I've lost 75 pounds in 5.5 months.
75 pounds?
Yes.
Holy mackerel.
After trying juice fast and eating raw, body cleanses, and I just couldn't
But
get it
you look
off.
so natural, and you're not a person that I would see on the street and say, oh, that lady used to be much larger. I mean, you just look very normal.
It's made such a difference in energy levels. go into restaurants. I'm not afraid to sit in a booth anymore.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Or go to the movies and not worry about if you're going to fit into the seat anymore.
Yeah.
I still have a little ways to go, but it's been very exciting, very hopeful to see it getting going.
Because when you're a larger person, you got to think about stuff like
Oh,
that.
it's hundreds of small humiliations every day.
And that's probably a good way to put it.
And, you know, you just, it's nice to be able to shop in the regular size of the department stores. And it's hard, and people look at you and think, well, they just don't try, but I had tried. You know, I'd done juice fast. I spent my 40s doing all the yo-yo diets, lose 10, gain 15. When I turned 50, I thought, I'm just going to learn about health and regain my health and get my health back. And we had cleaned up our diet, and I did do juice cleanses and detox every organ in my body. And things got better. My health got better, but I never lost any weight. And I had figured out that I had just so out of balance. I just didn't know what else to do to get into balance.
So Emily,
this has been a blessing.
what do you attribute your success to? I mean, now we've got some products here. In the minute that we have left, what can people do if they want to get the type of weight loss that both you and Margaret have experienced?
Okay, we could both tag team on that, I guess. But the main thing is the drops. They're homeopathic. There's 7 different plants in one of the drops, and the other one is B12, B5, and niacin, and it raises your metabolism.
But what does it do? Do you just take these drops?
You do. You put them underneath your tongue. It's a sublingual. Just 10 minutes before you eat, 3 times a day. Now, obviously, we want you to eat healthy.
Okay, so there's a diet that goes along with the drops.
Oh, well, not necessarily a diet, just eating healthy. You can still have like Ezekiel bread and sweet potatoes, but we just want you to stay off of heavy fats and dairy and sugar, just for the program.
So you change your diet, you change your metabolism a little bit, and it sounds like you're losing weight at a pretty healthy rate. Yours is rather dramatic.
And it's great. And you're targeting the fat cells. You're getting your body to release the fat and get rid of it.
If people wanted to find out more about these drops and your weight loss techniques, what do they do? Where can they go?
Well, they can go to my website, which is slenderjourney.com.
Slenderjourney.com.
/ Emily Carvalho. And, yeah. And because it works at the cellular level and it attacks the visceral fat, there's no rebound. So that's one reason why it works.
Well, we are so out of time, it's not funny, but thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing these very personal stories with us.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully we'll inspire some people out there to get healthy.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Dr. Stephen Favaloro from Forest Park Animal Hospital, and we're going to talk about your pets. Welcome back to the show, Doc.
Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
You know, we were talking off camera about cats.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
I'm kind of a dog guy, but a lot of people have cats.
A significant percentage of people.
Yeah. Now, cats have a special set of problems that maybe dogs don't necessarily have.
That's true. That's a very accurate statement. One of the things that we see more commonly in cats than we do dogs is inflammatory bladder diseases. We call it feline lower urinary tract disease, and it's different between like younger cats and older cats as far as the causes. But in younger cats, and they all look the same regardless of age, which is generally licking themselves a lot. They have an increased frequency to go to the litter box. Sometimes they'll go in inappropriate places like the bathroom, the sink, the toilet, not the toilet, but the
That's
bathroom.
a good trick.
It would be a good trick. I've seen that.
I've seen it on
and
YouTube.
they'll cry when they're trying to go to the bathroom because it hurts. They'll see blood.
So
sometimes
obviously you'll see your pet's in distress.
Absolutely.
Somehow.
And
changing its habits.
Unless you're absolutely not paying attention. And so generally in the younger cats, it's usually inflammatory. A lot of times, regardless of how much testing you do, you never really find the real answer.
It's just inflamed for whatever reason.
It could be diet. It could be environmental stress. It could be anything that's that the cat is bothered by. Younger cats very rarely actually get bladder infections. It's usually inflammatory. It could be crystals. It can be stones. Very rarely do we see like cancer or anything like that.
And why is that? Why are they prone to that? Is it their diet?
A lot of times it's diet. The inflammatory component, once again, we don't know. But the crystals and the stones are generally diet related. And so, when they come in, we'll try to get a urine sample. We'll try to check the pH. We'll try to see if there's any white blood cells, if there's bacteria, if there's crystals. and we'll take an x-ray if we need to make sure there's no stones. But a lot of times if there's crystal formation, if we can find out what type of crystals they are, then we can modify the diet to make it to where those crystals won't form. And then male cats, it's really important because their urethra is narrower than in a female, and their crystals get plugged and can cause them to not be able to urinate. So their bladder will get real big. It could even rupture. They can go into kidney failure. So there's a lot of life-threatening
How would you go about modifying a cat's diet? Because they're basically carnivores, right?
They are, but there's things that that can be put in the diet that'll change the pH, or that will eliminate some of the ash content, if you will, to lower the things that are put into the urine that can form these crystals. So
basically, with the food, you can alter the cat's chemistry a little bit so it won't form those stones?
In the bladder, you could. And there are some diets over the counter that cater to urinary acidification, because the most common crystal we would see would be called a magnesium phosphate or a struvite, and that's usually associated with a high pH.
Struvite.
A struvite, and they look pretty cool. Look like coffins on the microscope.
Oh my!
And so if you lower the urinary pH, those crystals can't form. And a lot of times you'll have an associated bacterial infection with it. So a lot of times you'll put them on a diet, put them on antibiotics, and usually it takes a week or two for the bladder to develop a pH that will prevent those crystals from continuing to form.
Yeah, and so I guess the best advice is, if you see a change of behavior in your cat, if your cat seems to be in distress, or maybe it's changing its bathroom habits somehow.
If you see them, if they're going in the sink, or they're going in the bathtub, they're going on the carpet, and they're going frequently and straining, then that's an indication that you need to get them in, particularly if it's a male cat, because that can be life-threatening. In
the minute or that we have left here, there was something I did want to ask you about dogs, my favorite pet.
Very good.
And now, what if your dog turns up pregnant and you're going to have a litter of puppies?
Well, if it turns up pregnant and it's not planned, it can be a little bit more difficult in monitoring or kind of predicting when the birthing date's going to be. But if you plan on having the puppies and having the the birthing process, then there's certainly a lot of things that you can do to make sure that you can say this now and be legal. The bitch is safe.
Okay, in the finest sense of the word. There you go, and that's what it is. So,
that's right.
So you just basically have to make sure they have a quiet, and nature will take its course.
It can, but sometimes, particularly when we intentionally breed, nature didn't intend for that to happen sometimes, particularly if you have to do artificial insemination and whatnot.
Right.
So sometimes when the birthing process does happen, there can be a lot of complications, and we can certainly talk about that on our next show.
I think we will.
Very good.
Dr. Stephen Favaloro, thanks so much for getting us smart on our cat health and our female dogs.
Very good.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Joe Milliron from Bay County Animal Services and his friend Sam. Welcome to the show, Joe and Sam.
Thank you.
Now, what is the story behind Sam? He is a handsome fella. And do you know what kind of breed he is? Or?
He came to us as a stray about a month and a half ago.
Poor
we
fella.
think that he's a German Shepherd mix, maybe some Chow, judging by his coat.
He's a beautiful dog. So he was a stray, and he was just kind of running around, running the streets.
Yep, somebody called us in, called him in as a stray, and our officers went and picked him up.
Well, that's good. How old do you think Sam is?
About a year, maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half old. Now, just like every other stray or owner surrender that you get there at Bay County Animal Services, Sam's been neutered, right? Mm-hmm. And I guess has he had all his shots and everything? Or
He's up to date on all his shots, so if somebody's looking for a new family member, they can come by tomorrow and have a companion by tomorrow evening.
And he's also got a chip too, doesn't he?
He does.
Okay, so he's neutered, he's got a chip, he's got all his shots. I mean, he is just ready to be adopted to some family there.
He's ready to go. He knows some basic obedience, sit, stay. Hasn't learned lay down yet, so that's something that he can learn with his new family.
Yeah, he's a beautiful dog, and he needs a couple kids to keep him busy, I think.
He does. He's a puppy at heart. He likes to play around.
Yeah. So if Sam, if you want to adopt Sam, we can call you, right? Mm-hmm. We can also go to the Bay County Animal Services website as well.
Sure.
And look at all the dogs that you have there for up for adoption, and I guess Sam's picture would be up there too.
It would, yep, along with all the other pictures of our dogs and the ages and just basic information like that.
If we wanted to get acquainted with Sam before we adopt him, could we just kind of go out and meet him and take him for a test drive?
Absolutely, yeah, we encourage that, just to get to know each other, their personalities, and if you have any other dogs that you'd like to see how he interacts with, you can bring them in too and do a mutual visit.
And what advice would you give to people who are considering adopting a dog or any animal?
A lot of people come in asking us, I want a dog that'll just stay in my yard and won't run away. That doesn't work. You got to spend the time with them to train them. It takes a while to build that connection, but once you do, it's special.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
No.
It's a living creature that deserves respect and love too. You got to have a relationship with these guys. Well, thank you so much for everything you do, Joe, out there with Bay County Animal Services, and thanks for bringing Sam on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
That wraps it up for this show, and remember, always spay and neuter your pets.